Miami, and funny enough, we started really working together after I left Miami and moved to LA, which is seems to be a recurring thing in my life. So it's a really cool thing. But we're both originally from Miami. Ruti lived in Miami most of her life, so it's a really strange town for being a prog thing because really there's no other prog in Miami. It's a very 4/4. Funny enough, it's not even a 6/8 town. It's more of a 4/4 town all the way through, which is seems to be a recurring thing in my life. So.
Okay, now we're getting a little loop here.
Woo! I got delay on. So it's a really.
Someone fell down the rabbit hole.
How you know what my head sounds like? There's no other prog.
So you're also a solo artist, and you've got quite a few albums out. And you've also done like Zebra Crossing, which is not only my favorite album. Now we're getting a little loop here. Okay, it's not only my favorite album that you've ever done. It is the most. It's in my top 100 most essential albums of all time.
Whoa, Nick! Whoa! Uh-oh!
No,
I want to say that. Second that. Yeah.
I gotta keep my head from swelling.
It is. I don't think you're ever going to top that unless you do a part 2. You were also part of.
Top that.
Pardon me?
My life goal now is to top that. But yeah, that was an incredible one of a kind of experience. The album that Nick is talking about is the album Zebra Crossing, which I made mostly at Abbey Road Studios in London. And it was just a situation where I was on tour with Dave Kersner. I said, fly me back a week later because I was going to do a little vacation with my girlfriend, Cindy. And I was just like, I called up Abbey Road and said, you guys have any dates available? And they had a cancellation on a Wednesday. And I came in and spent 11 hours in there, and it was incredible. But the most incredible thing is that I was able to crowdfund it. So I have some of the best fans in the world, and I was able to make it work because it's, believe it or not, a very expensive studio.
No.
I can imagine. And you've also done some other great things like Echo in the Canyon. The movie was fantastic. The music was fantastic. You were amazing.
That was an incredible experience, and that pretty much was a pipe dream I had of moving to LA and working with some of the people I ended up working with. But that all came from playing an unpaid jam at a Jewish deli with a bunch of guys. The right time, I was playing the right song at the right time. I was playing a Neil Young song, a song called Mr. Soul by Buffalo Springfield, and the director of the movie came in, saw me, heard me, and said, we got to talk. And he brought me into this record, because originally it was a record. And he brought me in not telling me what it was, and he said, look, Jacob Dylan is singing all these songs. Eventually, they're all going to be duets. And for the next 5 months, I got text messages like, oh, remember In My Room? That's Fiona Apple now. Hey, you remember Just Wasn't Made for These Times? Neil Young's on that one. The best one was, you no longer are playing the solo in Questions because Eric Clapton is. But you're still playing the guitar. I was like, okay, cool. So what happened is that it started off as an album. We did a concert to do behind the scenes footage for the album. They had the idea we should make a movie instead. And then I found out the hard way that movies take 4 times as long as albums. So the album was done 2015 and didn't come out until 2019. And for 4 years, I was watching this movie possibly not get made because it took so long. And then it finally came out. So I'm really happy it exists. And it was definitely a crowning achievement for a long, long road. I'm kind of celebrating my 23rd year as a professional musician, and I've been through so much. So it was great to finally have something come together like that. But it was a crazy process. So, but I would happily do that again if I was asked. It was really cool. But that's one of the cool things about what we do as musicians is that you never know what's going to be the next thing that might, take over your life for a few months and then eventually become a calling card thing. So I'm really happy that exists. But that kind of the same thing happened when you asked me to play on Storm Surge. I mean, I had no idea I'd ever be on a track with Rachel Flowers and Michael Sadler and all these guys. I mean, this stuff blows me away. When I hear that song, it's just so well put together. And I really hope it inspires people to transcend the usual when it comes to these songs. I mean, it's so well put together. It's long, but it doesn't feel long, and it has true emotion. Because look, I listen to a lot of prog, and there's been a lot of cases where prog kind of becomes a collection of riffs, or hey, look at how I could play in 21/8, while balancing a stick with 4 plates on it. This is different. This is true art. This is really prog with a compositional background where everything has its place. There's not one note wasted. And the group of people that you put together to make this, I mean, I'm blown away every time I see it, and people are blown away every time they hear it. And I hope lots more comes from this camp, because it really was a special blend of people, and really happy it exists.
Thanks.
How did you meet Joe?
I met Joe as a fan, Progtoberfest in Chicago.
Right.
One of the things about me is when I go to shows, I watch as many bands as possible, because I love getting inspired and I love meeting people. And while everybody else was just kind of hanging out, I decided to sit down and watch this band that was setting up, that had this cool violinist, and I'm a gear nut, and I liked Paul's alembic bass, and I was excited to hear all this stuff. And by 45 seconds into the first song, I was hooked, and I was texting everybody. I'm like, you got to come to the cabaret stage and see this band, because not only was the visual aspect of the band okay, so Joe was wireless and running around the room and getting in people's faces, and at one point he like jumped on a table, and it was incredible. I heard songs, I heard real songcraft, and I heard real songwriting, because that's the thing. It's like most of the prog music I love can be broken down and still work. It doesn't require the smoke and mirrors and the smoke bombs and the laser lights to affect you. And I heard real songs, and I heard great harmonies, and I heard great riffs, and I was blown away by the band, and I was blown away by Joe. Honestly, it was just everything I love about prog. Just being, they were also very loud, so it was definitely definitely a bombast.
I also, before we move on, I just want to say I'm blown away by your prolificness. You put out like 3 albums in a year or something. I don't know anyone that can do that. And
he puts out a new single every other day.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like I dwell over a song forever. I work slow. Also, I have 2 kids, and I'm a gigging musician. It's just hard to get things done. But you crank out these great albums, and they're all great. I mean, the quality of your blows my mind. And the fact, and also it was an honor to play on Out to Sea 1 and 2, your last 2 albums.
Oh yeah.
So you owed me this, brother. You owed me this track.
No. It was definitely, there was no there was no flinching when you asked. And as far as my prolificness, it's a survival method. We've all been hit hard by the pandemic, and we've all had our own personal stories of trials and tribulation. My longest love has been music, and one of the place where I'm most comfortable in the world is in the recording studio. And I enjoy making music. I enjoy collaborating. I love doing this. And as far as I'm concerned, whenever I see something that's got so much heart, you know what my answer is going to be. I'm in. If I have the time, I'm in. And I had no idea just how much it was going to blossom. I mean, I heard what I played to was incredible, but not all the solos were in. I think it was a scratch vocal, and there was a bunch of stuff. What it ended up turning into is just remarkable, and I'm so proud of everybody here.
Hey man, in the interest of time, we want to cover everybody, but you have a song you wanted to share with the audience before we.
Well, one of the things you noticed is one of the things that you said in your initial email is you have your storm and I have mine, and I wanted to show off the beautiful music video that Cindy Trissel put together, my girlfriend, for a song off of my Out to Sea 3 record called The Storm. Funny enough, we both are inspired by the same things. So this is my song, The Storm, off of Out to Sea 3, which originally was called Power Outage because I wanted it to be an unplugged prog song. Every instrument on the song is acoustic, down to the acoustic bass I used. And it ended up turning, after a while, the thing about instrumental music is that you could change the title at any point in its life. Some people, there's a classic story about how Steve Howe wrote the song Clap about his son who used to clap along to him while he's playing, and the record label changed it to The Clap, which ruined the song for the rest of completely changed the meaning of the song forever. But that's the thing. Sometimes instrumentals are just called instrumental number 5 until the last minute, and they're like, oh, okay, we'll call this X, Y, 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 Z, or whatever. So in this case, at the last minute, while I was listening to it, I started picturing a boat in the water and getting thrown around and waves and tsunamis, and so it ended up becoming The Storm. So this is my song, The Storm.
All right.
So I was.
Sorry,
What?
David. We're back to no sound. Someone just said that. Sorry.
We're back up.
What the heck?
Okay, cool. We're good. We're good. Keep going.
That's weird.
Anyways, Rachel, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah. So I was born premature. Okay. That's my mom, Jeannie Flowers.
Hi, Jeannie.
Hi, Jeannie.
I'm hiding over here.
So I started playing piano at 2.5 and classical music, and then getting into jazz when I was about I don't know how old I was. Yeah, like 8 or 9. Started wanting to play the flute, and then got into the progressive rock stuff when I was about I don't remember, but Emerson, Lake and Palmer, and the adaptations of classical music that they were doing. And so that was the thing that interested me in the progressive rock genre. And
well, you've worked with some great people like Dweezil Zappa and Arturo Sandoval, Jeff Skunk Baxter, Jordan Rudess, Rick Wakeman, Burt Bacharach, Keith Emerson. I mean, geez, the list just goes on and on. I mean, and Joe Deninzon. Wow.
Wow.
I mean, you can't get any better than that.
Well, when I saw Rachel play with Michael in 2018, I was among the people with tears in their eyes, and I was compelled to buy her CD going somewhere. And when I buy a CD or hear a song and I love the way it sounds, my first instinct, as a lot of musicians, is to see who played on the album, to see the credit. So I went, and it was all Rachel. She played bass, drums, guitar. She sang on it. She produced it. She engineered it. I was like, holy shit. I was completely blown away. Rachel's been blind since 3 months, so I've never witnessed anything like that. And I know a lot of talented people in my life, but there's a whole other level of talent that Rachel embodies, I think. And I'm blessed to be in her presence, you know.
Yeah, thanks. It's fun. So.
And you've also worked with Michael and did a release with him as well, correct?
Yeah, we did an album of 3 songs. We did it all in our own places. My studio is my bedroom. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
And people should check out, there's a documentary about Rachel on Amazon Prime called Hearing is Believing. It's an excellent documentary, and it shows her playing with Dweezil Zappa and Arturo Sandoval. And
yeah, it was pretty cool. So
yeah.
So what did you think of Joe when you met him and he asked you to do the song?
Oh, I first met Joe, was it Prague Stock?
I think it was Prague Stock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we heard him play.
Yeah, we heard him play, and was it Stratospheerius?
Stratospheerius.
Yeah, it was pretty neat. And then we did a thing at, I think it was before Cruise to the Edge, and we were talking about doing some collaborations together. And then at the start of the pandemic, I remember he sent me a track. It had the rough vocals. It had most of the instruments. And we emailed each other there was a couple spots where he heard me do a flute solo, so then I recorded that, and then some piano using my Korg keyboard, which is amazing. And and then worked on the final versions, and it's pretty exciting to do this collaboration with a lot of these people, Ruti and Michael, Fernando.
A lot of great people.
We've never had flute on any of our recordings, and I was imagining that vibe on this song. And then I thought originally it was written for piano, so
Mhm.
you know, we should have a piano in the song, but I didn't want it to be anything like the original competition. I wanted you to
Yeah.
really do your own thing on it, and it was
Mhm.
laid down. You completely reimagined the piece. So
Thanks.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so Rachel, you have a video that you brought with you that we're going to watch. Can you tell us
Yeah.
about it?
Yeah.
It's AB.
It's called AB, and the title comes from Adrian Ballou. I heard him at the cruise, and after his set with, what was the female bass player? Julie?
Julie Slick.
Julie Slick.
Yeah. Yeah. And after seeing that show, I went back to the, was it like the cabin, got my machine out, started singing this idea while I was just relaxing. And when I got back home, once we got my keyboard and stuff like that, I was able to work out the rest of the tune, and it's going to be on my new album that's close to being finished. I'm still trying to work out some little things here and there, but it's going to be sort of a prog type album, because Listen was jazzy inspired, and then Going Somewhere was like vocals, sort of jazz, R&B
R&B.
kind of.
Stevie Wonder
Yeah.
I was hearing.
Yeah, Stevie
Yeah.
Wonder. Yep. And so this next one's bigger on the inside. It's going to be progressive rock, and
Cool.
I was thinking a lot about like various groups from like King Crimson to Alan Parsons Project, Ambrosia, trying to think of who else. Just a lot of various orchestral stuff. And then I was also thinking of David Bowie and this and that and various other things. So once it's finalized, it's I hope all of you will enjoy it. So
Everybody, please visit rachelflowersmusic.com for all the goods. See and hear.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yep.
We just lost Rachel's sound.
What's the
What's
name
that?
of this song?
AB.
AB. Okay.
Yeah. No.
Something with the-
Here we go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Give it up for
Thank
Rachel Flowers.
Woo.
Thank you. And
Oh,
Drums?
am I what?
Was that you on drums, Rachel?
Yep.
Okay.
so you played all the instruments on that song, right?
Yep.
Amazing.
I've
Yes.
been, I've
Yes.
been waiting for something
Same
like
on
this
the
to happen.
What's
You know,
that?
I'm a huge fan of the one man band, and I've been waiting for a female artist to kick this amount of butt all alone, and I am completely blown away. That's incredible.
Thanks, it's fun. That's it.
You
Like
ever-
and my friend Robert Minsk, he did the he did the video for it. So
Oh, it looks amazing.
yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna. That was my next question. Who did the video? It was really well done.
Yeah,
So-
thanks.
I just
Thanks,
had. I remember a really funny story. Just a side note. Rachel and I were both on Cruise to the Edge 2019, and a bunch of people had asked me to play the After Hours Jam, and they make a really big deal out of it because they plan these really complicated songs and they rehearse. They prepare for them. So one of the songs I was asked to play was Lark's Tongue in Aspic, but for some reason I thought it was part one. So I actually did a lot of work. I transcribed David Byrd's whole violin solo. It was like an 11-minute abstract violin solo. I had it all prepared, and then I show up, and on the schedule is part two, which I never practiced, and I had never played it in my life. So I try to listen to it, like cram it in my ear, and I get on stage, and I'm just winging it. And there's Adrian Ballou sitting in the front row. And Rachel goes up to me afterwards and goes, "That was kind of strange, Joe. What was that?"
That's
One
one
of those
more
moments you just kind of look back on it and laugh.
talking about a red nightmare, right?
Yeah.
That's great.
Seriously. So, all right. So, thank you, Rachel. Let's
Welcome.
move on to the legendary Michael Sadler.
The legendary.
Woo!
On Faraway Beach.
Yeah,
I guess
just let you-
Zeta passed him already, right? The tropical storm.
well, here's the thing. I just want to say this ahead of time because in light of the COVID and everybody you're searching for other ways of income and keeping alive, I've taken on a job as an air traffic controller just down on this beach here. So if I have to interrupt at any given time, it's just because there's a bit of air traffic. I've asked them to limit the flights coming in and out, so we should be okay. But I'll just have to keep an eye on it.
Is the flight attendant serving pina coladas?
Of course.
Great to have you here, Michael. It's been a long
Nice to
time.
be here,
Yeah,
guys.
Michael.
Nice to be
Great
here.
to have you on the song.
Hey, everybody.
So, Michael, longtime fan here, and I don't want to sound like one of those people that says, "Hey, I'm a longtime fan," but I have. I've been a fan since the late '70s, and we've been social media friends for probably about 10 years. Where I finally got to meet you 3 years ago at Prague Stock. And I remember you were in the room when Joe Deninzon was jamming with his band. And you had walked out right after the set, and I walked out right after you. And you just looked at me and you go, pardon my French, folks, what the fuck was that? I have never.
Wait, in the nicest possible way. I mean,
Yeah, it was. But you said, I have never seen anything like that in my entire life. Who is this guy?
I know, it was a total shock. I remember going to that after party, and hearing the music coming from the other room, and I thought, something piqued my interest. I turned the corner and I stood there and just my jaw hit the floor watching it and listening to it. I mean, the players themselves, but watching Joe do what he was doing with the violin and the sounds that he was getting, and I was blown away. I'm sure I didn't use that expletive. I'm not that kind of guy.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe. But it was that was my
It
introduction
was
to.
the heat of the moment that I thought, wow,
Yeah.
this guy.
Well, it
Here's
was.
this guy that I admire that admires one of my artists.
Well, I mean, what's not to admire? I was blown away. I was just, and I had to meet the guys afterwards. So that's where that relationship began, really.
That was a special night. There was a certain magic.
Yeah.
night, and so many people showed up to that late after party and hung out.
Well, I remember, yeah, I remember walking into that room. It was jammed with people. I could barely, I just kind of came in the door, and I was just, and they were all doing the same thing. They were just watching you guys, going, "What the?"
And we have to thank IQ for that, because they showed up late.
That's right.
That's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
That's right. That's absolutely right.
Since we're all here, I want to give a big shout out to Tom Palmieri and Ann Rinaldi.
Absolutely.
They kind of brought all of us together, and that's what they do. They bring people together. All these festivals, this community. Yeah. There's all this cross collaboration going on, and it's all beautiful, Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Progstock, Progstock was a real breeding ground of friendships and connections, like you said. I mean, that I guess it was the second Progstock in 2018 when we met, when I had Enchant as my surrogate Saga band. And I got a chance to meet everybody then. And I mean, I was on stage with Dave Kersner, for example. We did a tune together. Tom Brislin had whipped up a version of Wind 'Em Up. And it was a lot of fun. But yeah, all these connections get made. And we can see now that we're all friends and co-conspirators. So.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Tom and Ann did a great job of putting that festival together. I'm sure it would have been a raging success had it not been curtailed by the pandemic this year.
Let's hope that they are able to keep it going for many decades.
Yeah, I agree.
So, and I just want to mention, if anyone watching wants to type some questions into the chat, we'll try to answer them for any of us. And also, we had some glitches with Facebook, so I apologize. But I've been sending out the link to this YouTube feed, and if anyone else wants to share, anyone watching this wants to share with their friends on social media to come and watch this show, that would be great. So we'll keep it going.
Absolutely.
So Michael, tell us a little bit about this song. How did you feel about doing this? How did it affect you on a personal level, as well as
I didn't actually care for the song very much at the beginning, but then he offered me a ridiculous amount of money, and I mean, hard times. It's just no. I mean, that first night we got talking, and as you do, when you make connections for the first time, and you have mutual admiration and of the talent. It's like, we should do something together sometime. And, Fern can tell you that. That's just the nature of the business, and sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. But the seed was planted at that time, and some time went by, and Joe contacted me and said, I've got this track, and I've got a bunch of guests playing on it. I'm going to need a vocal, and I thought of you for this particular song, which was... Thank you very much, because I heard the song and I could. I mean, I know well enough my voice well enough after so many years of singing different kinds of things, and I know where my strengths really lie and what kinds of songs really bring out the best in me. And this is one of those kinds of songs, and I heard that immediately. I guess I was channeling my inner choir boy from my childhood, but. It was just one of those kind of songs. And I have to say to all the players, I mean, as a vocalist, there's nothing more inspiring than hearing this brilliant bed track of sounds and everything was played with emotion. I think someone was talking about that earlier, but it's a very emotional track, which you can feel when musicians just play the notes and when they're feeling the song. And that's what it felt like to me. The song breathes. Mm-hmm. And out of the box, it was Joe sent me a instrumental version and one with guide vocal with him singing, and I just have to say here and now that Joe is no slouch when it comes to the vocals. I mean, he in fact in the quiet verses, in the second verse there's a harmony, and he had done both parts, but when it came to do the my vocal, I thought, I mean, I could have easily done the harmony as well, but I thought it's when you can get away with not doing your own harmony, especially when it's just one-on-one. Doing gang vocals is different. If you just stack yourself, you turn it into a choir, like a Queen-like thing that you kind of hear later. But when it's just the two voices, it's sometimes good to have someone else singing it. And quite frankly, I don't know if he redid his part or not, but I mean, the vocal that was on there sounded fine to me. And I said to him, I can do the harmony if you want, but I mean, it sounds good. I wouldn't touch it. It's not broken, so you fix things. So, but but seriously, to have that kind of inspiration behind you when you're singing a track meant it really helped the cause. So. I have to thank you, Joe, for thinking me for this track, because I would have been very jealous if you'd given it to somebody else.
Well, you know, I really wanted the right vehicle. I really wanted to have you on a song, and we've never really had outside lead singers. I've always been the lead singer of the band, but this required a level of vocal pyrotechnics that I just don't have, and it just needed that extra. You know,
well, I mean, like you said, you know, the parts were there, and that, I mean, just to explain to everybody, as you know, when you do someone else's track, whether it be the vocalist or a guitar player, but you're doing a part for someone else, you get sent the track, you do an initial rundown or run through, demo as it were, and then you send it back, and then you have comments back and forth and refine it. We only really, in retrospect, only went back and forth with it after I did the initial vocal for you, maybe 2 or 3 times, because it was pretty set melodically, and I messed around with some of the melody here and there, but it didn't really need a lot done to it. You know, some lyrics that just a little tweak here and there, but I mean, it was there, and that made my job a lot easier.
Well, you really enhanced what was already there with the melody. You made some interesting changes, and the harmonies you added to it were just took it to a whole other level.
I was inspired.
Come up with. So I was actually wondering, because originally we were going to play this song at the very end of the show. I wanted to get David's opinion and Nick's. Should we play it now, maybe, and maybe do the other stuff at the end? What do you guys think? Or should we keep going and save it to the very end?
Well, I want to ask a question from that someone in the chat is wanting to know. Is that all right?
Uh-oh. That depends on the question.
Yeah.
So Frank Lutberger is asking, Michael, do you have a release date for your new acoustic album? And I'm looking forward to it.
First of all, who said it was an acoustic record? And second of all, no, we don't have a date release yet. You may have heard a rumor. There's a lot of rumors flying around about the new Saga album coming. There is no official. I mean, everything got moved around because of the pandemic and this and that, and all scheduling went out the window. So everyone's kind of playing it by ear at this point. There's no definite schedule. I'm pretty sure it will be after the holidays, so it'll be in the beginning of the new year, I would think. No definite release date, and like I said, if you heard a vicious rumor about it being acoustic, we'll leave it as a vicious rumor for now. I will say one thing to answer all the questions about what can people expect from the new Saga record. Think of any possible scenario, anything it could possibly be that we could possibly do as a new album, anything, and it's not that.
Wow.
That's all I can say.
I'm very intrigued.
Awesome. So we've been talking about this song called Storm Surge.
Yeah.
For about an hour.
We're taking a vote. We were gonna play it at the very end of the show because we have a few more things to get through. Or
we opened the show with the video, and I think we're going to close the show with the video, but maybe we should play the song itself.
I don't want to play it like 3 times. You know, no, it's okay. Let's
we'll wait for
the anticipation going. That's okay. Let's.
All right. Well,
we're good.
Michael, thank you for being here. Thank you for
my pleasure.
Doing everything on this.
I have to thank all the players. Like I said, I mean, without that kind of inspiration in the headphones while you're singing, it wouldn't have been the same. I've still sung it, you know, with everything, but there was an element of inspiration happening that pushed me to these extra bits that Joe was talking about. So I want to thank you all for doing an incredible job on it, and Joe, thank you for letting me do this song. So.
Well, it was a dream come true for us. We had grown up listening to your music from the time we were little kids. So
thank you. Okay, we could stop right there.
No, I mean, I'm
not that old. Come on.
I gotta say.
Oh, wait a minute! I forgot.
Wait.
I forgot. We started the band when I was 12. So
there you go.
I gotta say, this
You're
song.
Like 40 now, right?
Yeah.
Emotionally, this song really moved me. Michael.
Thank
You
you.
just
Thank you.
you really friggin' nailed it. This to me was like doing Nice and White Satin with at Progstock.
That's very special. One thing about the Nice White Satin with Rachel, I wanted to do that song. I did an album many years ago in Germany, with called the Frankfurt Rock Orchestra, and it was all moody blues material, but sung by other people. And I did 4 tracks, and one of them was Nice and White Satin. I discovered at that time that Justin Hayward and I had the same very comfortable range. Like the sweet spot is around the same, so it was very easy and comfortable for me to sing moody blues material. And I'd heard about Rachel, and I thought about doing something with her, and I thought, wouldn't it be cool to do a version of Nice White Satin? And it's a very orchestrated, huge,
Yes.
lush piece. To break it down to just piano and voice, I wasn't sure if it would work, but I had a feeling it would. Got in contact with Rachel, and she sent me her version on piano without the voice on it, obviously, and my jaw hit the floor. And I was not missing any of the orchestration. When she did all the ending with all the, I was like, how can you make that? How do you put that across with just piano? But she manages to do it. So being able to have the chance to not only record it with her, we got a chance to perform it a few times, and it's again, when you sing with an accompanying track or accompanying soloist, and they're of that level, it just brings out the best in you. And you pick the right song, like Nice and White Satin, and it was just it happened instantly.
It works really well in an intimate.
It does. It does. It really does. It really does.
Again, Michael, thank you, and thank you for everyone that's here. We still got some more people to talk to. In fact, let me introduce to you guys and gals, David P. Levin. David, how you doing?
I'm having a fit.
Let me introduce David to you all. David is a former MTV producer. You did Pop Goes the Culture on YouTube, produced documentaries on Madonna, Michael Jackson, and a recent show on John Lennon. And you also did the Impostor music video for Joe Deninzon and Stratospheerius.
I did something like that. Yeah. So
how did that come about?
I felt so sorry for Joe, and first of all, I have to tell you that I always, I had okay. First, let me figure out how this thing is working, because right now it's all on me, and I gotta unpin me so that I can just do this thing. Okay, here we go. So first of all, I met Joe, was it 3-4 years ago? Our kids went to the same preschool.
They met, we met through our kids. Our daughters were friends at preschool.
That's right. And I had always had this ambition to collude with Russians. So Joe seemed like a really good Russian to collude with. No, I heard him play. I heard his wife Yulia play. My wife and I are like total groupies for music. I play a little bit of, just horrifying that I should play guitar, especially with the talent that's here. But basically, I do videos, and I love music, and I worked at MTV for a number of years, like you said, and I produced a bunch of shows for them, and I had done a couple of music videos over the years, not a lot. And so I said to Joe one day, or he said to me one day, we should collaborate. And he said, I'm doing this thing for Progstock, and would you create some videos for me? And having no idea what I was getting into, I'm like, yeah, sure, that sounds like fun. Figuring we'll do a music video. Well, at Progstock that year, they played 13 songs, and over the course of a month, we produced 13 music videos, Joe.
Well, actually, I'll correct. It was 11 songs, but were like 20 minutes long, so I guess that counts.
Yeah, and your songs are ridiculously long. I mean, these are songs that go on. Okay, 11 songs, but each song was like 5 songs. So
It's Prague. I mean, that's what you got to give the people what they want.
well, it was good. Actually, it was a lot of fun. We learned a lot about each other. Joe, as all of you know, is a terrific collaborator. I'm pushing buttons while I'm here talking to you because I'm actually running this live stream. So blame all the mess ups and all the bad audio and everything. That's on me, guys. Sorry.
Great job, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. But all the mistakes are on me too. But Joe and I found we loved working with each other. We had a really good. Joe knew what he wanted to see, which is really helpful, and then I was able to help him sort of execute on his vision while also hopefully adding some creativity of my own. And we cut it using a program called Final Cut Pro, and a bunch of effects and a ridiculous amount of not just performance video, but some stock footage that I had a subscription to. And believe it or not, the Imposter video, as Storm Surge was mostly filmed on an iPhone, which is disappearing on the green screen. But an 11 Pro Max, and named after Joe's son, of course. And so it was an amazing collaboration. We green screened all the talented members of Stratospheerius. Every one of them was amazing to watch. They were all complete pros, and put together some really good work. I'm really proud of the work I've done with Joe. We did a behind the curtain, which is how I felt today, which is a great video, which I contributed a little bit to, and then did a little extra editing to. The stuff that we did for Progstock a couple of years ago, which ran behind the band when they were up on stage, and it looked terrific. It was really fun. And then Imposter, which was challenging and fun and fulfilling. And then Storm Surge, I really didn't do so much. Joe did most of the cutting. I just cleaned it up a little bit. But I love working with these guys. Yeah.
He was also my coach because I was learning the program when I was editing Storm Surge. So he was kind of kicking my ass and telling me what I was doing wrong.
You weren't doing much wrong. You were getting it mostly right. I mean, you're creative. You're creative. You know what you're doing, and you know what you want. And it was just, listen. I wouldn't pick up the violin and start playing the violin.
Yeah, I was kind of there were some moments where it was crashing and I was struggling. So you really helped me out with putting that together. So
hey, listen, what are friends for? You owe me.
Yeah, yeah, I do. So I just want to say to all my musician friends out there, if you need some videos made, this is the guy to call.
Oh, should I put up my my thing? I'll put up my thing. See, now
put up your thing.
Are you putting it in over there on
the chat?
YouTube?
Whoops, hanging with the Surge, or that's
whatever it is we're doing now. Yeah.
Yes, it's really hard to actually be on a show and to be directing and technical directing the show while you're on it, while you're trying to do all this stuff. So don't use this as a guide to what I normally do. But right. You guys are great. All the musicians on this track on Storm Surge just blew me away. And my daughter, who's 7, was, and my wife, the three of us just watched it, and I am continually amazed and impressed by my friend Joe. He's really good at what he does, and it's really fun to work with him and to meet the people that he's friends with. So thank you, Joe, for the opportunity.
Thanks for being in my life and doing all this wonderful creative work.
There's some other great people involved in this project.
Yes.
In this, before we go into the Storm Surge or into the Imposter video, I got to say thanks to Rave Taysar from Renaissance, right?
From Renaissance.
Man, what a great job he did engineering this thing.
So and let me 2 decades. Oh, am I muted? It's saying?
No, you're unmuted.
No.
Okay. So Rave Tessar is a musical director and one of the keyboard players for the band Renaissance. He has been in it for 20 years, and he's been my friend for 20 years and has engineered, I think, 5 of my records.
Right.
Has brought me into the fold. I've been playing with Renaissance for 2 years now with my string quartet, Sweet Plantain. So he engineered all these tracks that we've been working on. So, love to read.
You also had Rich Mauser mix and master the album or the song.
He's been mixing and mastering all the new songs we've recorded with this new lineup of the band. Rich, who, if you guys are fans of Spock's Beard or Transatlantic or Neil Morse, or I can go on and on, all the Dream Theater, all the incredible artists he works with. So he's just an amazing engineer. And
some other people that are in this Zoom thing right now that I gotta thank is Jason on drums. Jason, you are one badass drummer.
Thank you so much.
And I had to say hello because no one knows you're here.
Hello. You know, while we're here, I'm literally waiting on Roto-Rooter at 10 after 10 because this evening I was doing dishes before we got on, and my garbage disposal decided to dismantle from the sink as I was chopping up pea soup. And it looked like a scene from The Exorcist under my sink where there's crap all over the place. So it's been an interesting evening, but I'll tell you, I am so happy to be with you guys. This is a humongous honor for me to be with so many people on the screen. I can get into my stories for 2 hours if I had to, but you know, whatever you want to ask, you can ask, but I'll tell you, it's just great being here. So thank you.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for, you know, I remember when Joe first introduced me to you guys and said that you guys were going to be the new band, you and Paul and Michelangelo. I was blown away by what I was hearing just in the demos alone. And then as you guys have progressed, each song has gotten better and better and better. And this mask is driving me nuts. But the new song, everyone played such an integral part in this. I really believe that this song doesn't feel like it's got guest people. It feels like it's a band with additional members that have joined.
Yeah.
Do you kind of get that feeling?
Oh, for sure. I mean, absolutely. I've seen Joe. So I'll back up just a hair and talk about how I met Joe. So I've been working with Mark Wood, the violin player, for many, many years because he and I spent time in the Trans-Siberian Orchestra together as Joe's wearing his shirt. So
Pose, by the way.
Is that Mark? Is that Mark's or TSO shirt? Oh, Mark. Okay, yeah. Oh, Paul's got a Mark Wood shirt.
Anyway, yeah.
You guys owe him money or something? And
he owes us money.
And I became Mark's drummer about 7 years ago, and that's when I started Mark's camp, and I met Paul and Joe through the camp. And ironically, a bandmate of mine, Aurelian Bodinik, was playing with Joe, a guitar player. And he said, you know, you should do some subbing for Stratospheerius. And, you know, it was just kind of a match made in heaven, like, oh yeah, this makes sense here, you know. But as we've gone on together, you know, our tastes have really sort of kind of developed together into this obviously more progressive, you know, way of doing things. And I would like to think that my writing style has sort of changed the way Joe thinks about some of his music and the way that we've come together. And same with Paul too, because he's worked with a lot of progressive bands too. And I think Joe has gotten to a point now where his music has really matured to where we want it. It's not just about the player, it's also about the writing too. And then this song was, from the beginning, I pictured this song to be very epic, very orchestral. Oh, somebody's delaying. Is that me? I don't know what happened.
You're good now.
Yeah.
Anyway, and I, much like Joe and like Ruti, I come from a classically trained percussionist background, and I'm also a piano player, and I work with orchestration. So when I write music, I don't really ever go to the drums. I go to the piano more. And there was a song that I wrote about 10 years ago with a band that I was working with, that was about. I could get into this as long, but basically it was a song about, there was a lot of stories on the news about people who were disappearing, never to be found again, by serial killers and that sort of thing. It wasn't grim. It was sort of about how we have to live with the damage after something like that happens. And I wrote this whole orchestral piece to it. And I said, when Joe showed me this song, I said, oh my God, this one part that I wrote would fit so perfectly with this song. And I just changed the key. I dropped it a whole step or something, and it worked out perfectly. And it was just a match, again, made in heaven, with everything come together. And Joe approached me and said, we might have this chance of getting Michael Sadler to sing it. And I picked myself off the floor after being in a coma for about a month. And we made it happen. And, it's just been a pleasure. Every step of the way with this song has been an absolute pleasure, because it's like exactly how I envisioned it, from how we put it together to how it was orchestrated to who sang it and so on and so forth. So thumbs up.
We've been kind of Jason's been sending me ideas that he's had lying around. We've been co-writing. We have another song that he's contributed to coming up. But this song was based on the original piano piece. And then Jason said, yeah, I got this whole thing, part of a song lying around that I've never used. See if I think it would be a perfect fit. And that's the part Fernando did that big ripping solo on. It just fit like a glove, and it took it out of that exact form of the original 19th century piece that it was based on. It gave it a whole new life,
I remember hearing this song for the first time when you were here in Florida in March. You played this or bits of this song for me. You were doing a Mark Woods camp here in Orlando, and you stayed the night. It was really funny because I remember you getting here late, and I woke up and you were gone. But in the midterm, we had dinner, and after dinner we were sitting in the music room, and you played me this piece. And so I heard, you kind of told me the story, and you kind of, I heard the beginning of where the song started, and where it ended was way beyond what I mean, I knew it was going to be amazing, but you always blow me away with taking it to the next level.
That was my last trip before the pandemic hit. I was down at the Strings Conference, and I was crashing at your place. And I was really sketching this song together. So I played a very, very early version of it to you and your wife, before Jason's part, before of Michael's vocals, before anything really. So he heard it in its infancy. And
it was great. It was great to be part of it as the song was growing. I also got to say a big hello to Paul, who is here with us. He's drinking something damn good looking.
Dirty martinis, right, Paul?
They are martinis.
Paul loves martinis.
Are those the good dirty ones?
Of course. There's only one way to have a martini, and that is Kettle One. And I'm not getting paid by Kettle One by saying that. I'm just saying Kettle One, dirty martinis, a little bit of vermouth. Cheers, everybody.
But if anyone from Kettle One is out there, if you're interested in sponsoring Paul,
The first time I saw Paul perform and met him, he blew me away. You look at this guy, and he looks like he belongs in a ska band. He does. I mean, he's just got this really cool attitude. He dresses sharp, and he plays amazing bass, and he's just
thank you.
It's such a nice guy.
Thank you.
By the way, the check's in the mail.
Yes, your check's in the mail, sir. First of all, I have to apologize right now. I'm actually speaking to you in the lounge of the Hilton Hotel by JFK. If it's a little bit noisy, I apologize. I'm not home because my house is being renovated at the moment, and we're doing the floors and painting. And so my wife's like, we're not staying home tonight. And I'm like, okay, we'll get a hotel. And hence, I am at right by JFK, which is a few miles next to where I live in Long Beach, New York. So if it's a little noisy, folks, please forgive me. So I'm at the lounge here doing
It
this.
looks a little like your basement, except your basement's redder.
Yeah,
The deeper
exactly.
shade of red.
So how did you and Joe meet? And a two-part question: how did you and Joe meet? And what do you think this song brought to you and you brought to it?
Sure. Joe and I met through Mark Wood. Mark Wood seems to be the focus point of a lot of relationships, and even reaching into Stratospheerius and Joe's music, actually, I think in total. So I met Joe through Mark because Joe brilliantly has been teaching his class, a very successful class, through Mark Wood's rock orchestra camp that we do every summer in July in Olathe, Kansas, which Jason is a part of for many years, and a lot of other famous, leading, of course, violinists, but there are a few guitar players that come or other people that come, but it's primarily violinists from all over the world. And of course, Joe is highly known and really well respected. So his class is one of the most best received, most famous classes. And of course, doing that, and I say that, and I mean, I think Joe's music is obviously, it's brilliant. He himself is a huge pain in the ass, but his music is brilliant. I enjoy it.
Guilty as charged.
And Jason can definitely back me up on that. Anyway,
for those who don't know, Mark Wood makes these Flying V electric violins. That's my
right. Just to clarify, I'm sorry. So yeah, Mark Wood's the electric violinist of the original electric violinist of the Trans-Siberian Orchestra, and he's an Emmy Award-winning composer, and he's worldwide known as well in these type of circles. Anyway, the first part. Second part, what is it? Storm Surge really, the way that kind of Joe first presented it to me was, it's one word, and I think even Jason said epic. Everybody's saying it's epic. And first of all, I have to personally say thank you to Michael, to Rachel, to Fernando, to everybody who collaborated on this, because this was a very, very special piece, and it really is. And I think this will stand the test of time. As even a decade from now, 2 decades from now, I think people will still be listening to this song and be like, wow. And just, as we were all even recording it, even our parts, because we were only seeing the small part of the larger picture, which Joe had the larger picture, obviously, but we all had our small piece of it, and was like, we knew that it was special, and just for the amount of talent that was collaborating with it. We really knew it was something special. And how I approached my part, Joe had basically everything kind of sketched out. And fun fact, I recorded not one, not two, but 3 different bass parts for Joe. One regular bass, fretted bass. One, and Fernando would appreciate this, fretted bass, one fretless bass, and one 8-string bass.
Whoa!
And yeah. So I don't know if Joe, we should ever kind of release an alternate take that,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you get a lot of mileage out of this.
There was a lot of bottom on that song.
Remixes.
Yeah.
Because they had the cello and Paul's bass was matching it, but then he went and recorded other tracks. Like, I can't use all these tracks. It's just going to be
right.
You went above and beyond, as you.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So,
that's the Paul way.
So, and honestly, how I kind of approached it was, when we say epic, what's the first band that you think of when you think epicness, as far as pop, rock, and everything that everybody grew up on? Queen. How did I approach this? I was like, how would John Deacon of Queen play these parts? Basically, that was my personal angle of how to do it, and so that's how I kind of approached it.
Very, very cool.
So, Paul had this short, really cool Halloween video that he made, but I don't think David's saying he hadn't received it. I don't know if it's.
Did you receive it? I hope so. No. Can't hear you, Dave.
Dave, you're muted.
There you go. No.
Yeah, I have not seen it. Let me check and see if I've got it. But hey, listen, this is
Let,
I'll
This is
keep
why.
looking.
let's do this. Let's do this because we've been talking about Storm Surge. Let's play Storm Surge now, since there's been this whole build up, and then we had some other stuff we wanted to play, and that'll maybe buy you some time and see if you could find the song.
Hey guys, I have a session coming in at 8:00,
Yeah.
and I need to get ready for that.
All
It's
right.
been
Okay.
absolutely wonderful talking to everyone, and I love all of you. And upwards and onwards with the Storm Surge. It's going to be amazing to see the progression of everyone who hears it is going to love it. So let's get it out.
Here's Storm
Good to
Surge.
see you, Fern.
Song's been very greatly received. Thanks, Fern. We love you.
Bye, Fern.
Good luck with
Hi,
your
Fern.
Love
Thank
it,
you.
everyone.
happy
Love
Halloween.
you,
Fern.
everyone.
Have a great day.
Happy hour.
See you
Yeah.
soon, man.
Take care, man.
Cheers.
All right. Later,
So,
y'all.
so Dave, let's play Storm Surge right now.
You
Might as
got
well.
it. Okay. You might as well. People tuned in to see it. I
Exactly.
think they can watch it.
And then we
Sure,
can see
no
if we
problem.
have room for anything else after that.
Yeah, for the people who just can't get enough. Okay, hold on one second. I'll get us right to it.
All right, and I'm gonna take a bathroom break while we do that.
Just do it right there. Why you gotta get up?
By the way, I'm very nicely toasted.
Tangled emotions, waves pound the oceans, wild winds fill my slumber, darkness pulls me under. Caught in a storm surge, shackled and submerged, restless dreams they haunt me, drowning in this mad sea. Raging inside of me, I reach for you, but I can't breathe. Mouth wide open, I can't.
Sorry, Mike.
Drummers, I tell you.
It's true, man.
Yeah.
They're quirky.
Hey, you guys are live.
Are we back?
We're just
back.
about back. We're just watching the credits now.
It's weird looking at that video. It's like a Zoom meeting within a Zoom meeting. It's kind of trippy. I see all of a sudden, oh, Michael showed up to our thing. Oh no, he's on the video.
Nice work, guys. We're back.
So we're gonna wrap this up, and we wanted to thank everyone for watching and listening, and for those who tried to see this on Facebook, we're sorry we had the technical issues, but we're glad you were able to join us on YouTube. I want to thank Michael and Rachel and Ruti and Fernando and David and Nick and Paul and Jason and everyone involved in this song and video. And we have two little, well, not little, big things we want to end the evening with. One is a little Halloween jam that Paul created, right? Are we good to play that, David?
I'm going to give it a shot. Who knows?
Okay. Let's see what happens.
Oh,
Okay.
And this is where you could see Paul with his little twinkly fingers, man.
Yeah, baby.
I'm telling you, I so got into this song. It was so amazing.
thank you.
So I'll let Paul introduce the song. And
Oh,
Yeah.
Well, quick introduction. Here's my song. It's called "The Great Googa Mooga" for Halloween. Happy Halloween, everybody.
Halloween.
Cheers.
Happy Halloween.
Stay safe.
Happy Halloween.
Pray that it works.
Yeah, I hope it works.
And
Oh, there he goes.
yeah.
So do you collect fizzes too?
I have like 3 or 4. I'm not a big collector, but I have a few of them. Yeah. Basically
Yeah.
from one company too. Fezzorama's
Oh
company.
my God, that was awesome!
That was
Thank you.
that
Wow,
was the first time you saw that, Dave, right?
I had not seen that before. That was really good.
Thank you.
Nice work, both video, the music. It blew me away. It was really
Thank you.
good.
Appreciate it.
So we're gonna
You
end
can
the
do
night
this for a
with,
living.
Yeah. There you go.
so we're gonna end the night with "Imposter." This is a song we came out with last year, and the video we worked on with Dave for months and months, and it features myself, Paul on bass, Jason on the drums, Michelangelo Cornelli on guitar. Randy McStein makes an appearance on the track, playing guitar and backup vocals, although you don't see him in the video. And we have Bill Hubauer on keyboards from the Neil Morse Band. And this song has a lot of masks in it, and it's very Halloween-esque. And David did an amazing job putting it together, filming and editing the song. So
This was a lot of fun. This was a lot of fun to do, and we found a ton of masks, and it's perfect for Halloween. Not as perfect as Paul's piece,
no.
but
Thank you.
all right.
So again, thank you, Rachel Flowers, Michael Sadler.
Hey, Rachel. Thank you, Michael. Thank you
Jeannie
so much.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, both of you,
much.
so
Thank you.
much.
Thank you.
Everybody involved.
So
Love you all.
appreciate it.
Happy Halloween. Stay safe out there. And
Yeah, guys.
please enjoy Imposter and have a great night.
Absolutely.
Are we clear?
Yeah.
Cool.
Guys, thank you so much.
The master of all you survey. Your truth is a fact. White eyes hanging on your next word. Perfecting the act. One more day, another dollar. Cash out in the end. How long till they all discover that it's all just pretend? Lost in the clouds as I play the clown. Made you smile, silly child. It keeps you up at night. Flashes of deep insight. Let's see how far they'll bend. You fool them once again. So close to that big emotion. Keep feeding the flame. Cage rat going through the motions. Just a slave to this game, yeah.